hace 15 años. En 2000, el año 2000,
17 años.
17. El tiempo se fue. Entonces, estamos solamente para académicos hace 17 años. Y pues yo voy a diseñar una timeline instituto académico solamente hasta 2005, entonces académico solamente para 5 años.
Solo académicos de la Universidad de San Francisco.
Sí. En 2005 comenzó a trabajar aquí el doctor Doug Crawford, quien es el fundador de muchos de nuestros programas para emprendedores. Y en 2005 hemos fundado el Garage, que fue el primer incubador en la Universidad de California. Habían 6 compañías aquí. Pues 2 años después, en 2005, 4 de estos startups tenían fondos de Series A de las inversionistas. Entonces, de los 6 originales, uno estaba adquirido, fue adquirido y uno se cayó. Sí. Entonces, 5 de entre ellos
fueron exitosos.
Sí. Solamente en 2 años. Y pues nosotros tuvimos la decisión de continuar en esta dirección con más incubadores y más programas para emprendedores. Y pues ahora estamos en 2017, es aquí, y yo voy a apuntar las puntas importantes. En 2009 hemos fundado nuestro fondo de inversión, que se llama Mission Bay Capital. Y NBC, como se dice, fue fundado con solamente $7.5 millones. Pero pero ahora tiene 35 y después el closed originalmente a 17.5 y pues más tarde a 11.5 pero es un fondo 1 y ahora en 2013 ha adquirido un fondo segundo cono y ahora es 35 millones NBC y hemos creado más coworks en el Bay Area y ahora tenemos 5 en nuestra red, pero cada uno es diferente. Entonces tenemos 2 en lugares académicos y uno a 5 cuadras de aquí, y allá hay casi 40 startups de biotecnología, pero también hay uno en Berkeley con 18 compañías y uno en Palo Alto. Es una red de lugares. Hay muchos sectores, no es dominado para uno, pero hay los terapéuticos, los diagnósticos y es casi 20%. También las herramientas para research, investigaciones. Y las herramientas que se llaman research tools y biología sintético, los devices
dispositivos
médicos, entonces medtech y entonces 20% de los otros. Pero es muy distribuido. Ajá. Y en nuestro dentro de nuestra red de incubadores tiene 85 compañías en los incubadores, pero en nuestra red más grande tenemos ahora más de 500 compañías, pero la verdad es que casi 200 han caído. Entonces hay una distribución de sources, de fuentes, pero es casi la mitad tienen fondos del gobierno federal que se llaman SBIR aquí. Son de grants del gobierno. Entonces aquí hay los dos niveles de SBIR. El primero es 60 hasta $100,000 y el segundo es Phase 2, 1 hasta 2 millones. Y casi la mitad de nuestras compañías tienen el Phase 1. Es entre 100,000 y $1 millón.
Depende de...
Esos son los fondos. Los fondos de inversión. Porque cuando se ve un startup presentarse, ellos quieren conseguir fondos en una ronda de financiación. Generalmente es Series A y es de 2 hasta 10 millones. Y entonces somos solamente una fuente de entre 3 y 6 fondos de inversión. Realmente teníamos vínculos, I always wanted to use the word vínculos con las empresas grandes como GE Healthcare y Pfizer y fueron alianzas tradicionales entre academia y industria y en cual la industria da dinero a los investigadores y ellos hacen investigaciones y muchos años hemos fundado el incubador 953 y ellos okay, it's just easier saying in English, but we took some of those partnerships over the incubator, and all of a sudden, because of the freedom that came with being off campus, and because of some of the partnerships that the incubator formed, some of our former industry partners who had previously just done sponsored research were giving actual money to the incubator because they wanted to access the startups. They wanted what's the word? They wanted deal flow. They wanted to be able to see all those startups that we had. Yeah. An accelerator, you have 3 basic components. One is mentorship. and one is space, and one is funding. Pardon my handwriting, just what happens. So, you have your advisors, you have your workspace, and you have your money. And we do all those things, but we do them all separately. So people who want to work with us, some people get the whole thing.
What is the middle one?
Space. So that's just a workspace lab, because biotech, they need that lab space. But some people just come in and they get one thing, and even they come in and just get the funding. But they don't go through the whole thing. So I've talked about the incubators, which are the lab space, and our two venture funds. So there's one which is sort of general biotech, and there's one which is med tech. And then our mentorship is something called Startup in a Box, which we developed around 2013. And there's a bunch of parts of Startup in a Box, but the two main parts are legal help with incorporating.
Okay.
And so that we are connected to law firms in Silicon Valley. And I'm going to try going back to Spanish for just a minute, just for fun. So, tenemos conexiones con los abogados de propiedad intelectual en Silicon Valley. Y los emprendedores pueden venir a nosotros y hacemos las conexiones entre los abogados y los emprendedores. Anyway, I'm going to go back to English.
It's just a connection.
So
they have to pay the whole price of the service to the
No. So that's the thing. So this was where we made our first discovery of the role that we were beginning to play, and how what we were sort of developing our place in the ecosystem. And we realized that the startups needed help from the lawyers. And the lawyers they're required by law to provide pro bono help. They have to, or required by their profession. And so they go out there looking for people to give pro bono help to, but they don't want to help just anybody. Like if they can choose it, they would choose to help people who can become future clients. And we are a source of these future clients. So here we are in the middle, and the startups come to us on one side, and the lawyers come to us on the other. And we make the connection. And we realized after a while, we started off just doing this one at a time, but we're now doing like 80 to 100 a year. And every single one of them is like introducing and bringing them, like scheduling the meetings, and then we have various events. And we started needing to justify it. So we charge them. The startups get charged a very minimal fee. It's like $300, but they get 8 hours of time from the law firm, and those law firms would charge it's around $5,000 worth of legal help that they get for that $300. So they get incorporated properly, which is invaluable because they can get incorporated improperly and then just fail later on. But that's only part of Startup in a Box. There's also, we run SBIR grant writing workshops, and we also have other various service partners who work with us through Startup in a Box too. I mentioned Doug Crawford, who came up with a lot of this stuff. So the way that we've seen him developing so currently he's running that incubator offsite. He's also running Mission Bay Capital, which is the venture fund. So it used to be that we'd rent space at the incubator to anybody. So if we had space and somebody wanted it, we'd rent it to them. And now Doug is running these things as for profit. The incubator and the venture fund have become very much one thing. They become very close operations. So it's in Doug's interest to be very selective about what startups get into that incubator. And that applies to all of our spaces now. We're starting to look really hard at the companies that come in, and by which I mean we really want to know if these guys look like they've got a good product or they have a good team. Will they be attractive to these other service providers who want a piece of them? We're looking for a company that is going to succeed within a few years, and it will succeed in getting around a venture funding, or it will succeed in making a major industry partnership. And it will do those things because it has a good product, good science, good team, and it was created on a good sound footing, and these people know what they're doing. And they also, it's universal almost, like there are very few entrepreneurs who succeed who are really difficult people. Like, I guess, you know, so Steve Jobs is a very difficult guy, but we have people who are unpleasant personally tend not to be that successful. And so those things are very apparent when you meet them. Do you get along with, do you like this person? Because if you like them, then other people are going to like them. And if their product or whatever it is seems exciting. The problem, of course, is that biotech is just huge. It's just like so much going on, especially when it comes to drugs and drug discovery. Like that's, you really have to have expert advisors, because shade, but when you ask the entrepreneurs, you're going to hear no from so many people, and you're especially going to hear no from people that you ask for money. And you're going to, when you pitch your company, you are going to possibly pitch it to 50 people before you hear a yes. But don't think that there's anything unusual about that. If you have a good idea, you do have to, you know, believing in yourself is the biggest part of it, because you're not going to convince anybody else. But also, I guess, being around other entrepreneurs, so seek out other entrepreneurs, and in particular, just get advice and take support from anywhere you can get it. Hear a yes. But don't think that there's anything unusual about that. If you have a good idea, you do have to, you know, believing in yourself is the biggest part of it, because you're not going to convince anybody else. But also, I guess, being around other entrepreneurs, so seek out other entrepreneurs, and in particular, just get advice and take support from anywhere you can get it. And just because you've got support, this is what I see from our startups, they tend to just take help from anybody. So we'll find that all of a sudden, like, you know, we have competitors at QB3, we have our competitors around the Bay, and we'll find that these startups who we helped out later on, they're affiliated with one of our competitors. And you're like, hey, wait, but that's one of our companies, right? But they're not one of your companies. They're just getting whatever they need to get. So, you know, you just, as an entrepreneur, you're a very positive person, but you also shouldn't be afraid to take as much as you can get.